Hello, my friends and dear mixed media lovers. So today a short video about gesso. I will focus on white gesso and will speak about clear gesso, but you have to know that there is also black gesso. Although gessos have the similar properties that they all share, they will be all amazing acrylic primers. The fact if you should pick the clear one, the white one, or the black one, it depends on the outcome that you are looking for. Black gesso will be not discussed in this video because it's very specific. I mean, yeah, it's still a primer. It will still give you a priming properties. It will still have a tooth, and it will still make sure that all the products will adhere to your gessoed surface very well, and they will perform better than without any priming, or better than on, for example, acrylic paint. But it's black, and it's usually very, very opaque, so you will not see through it at all. White gesso shouldn't be 100% opaque. It have a decent opacity into it, so when you cover the book page, it will dull and push back a little bit the background. If you want to white out your surface, then I would recommend to apply a few layers. It's better to apply few thin coats than one thick one, as it just gives you the better prepared surface for your future mixed media actions. And the clear gesso will be completely see-through. They will all have the matte finish. If you bought gesso, you apply it on your surface and you can see any shine to it. It's not a good product. It's supposed to be completely matte. And the thing that makes your gesso matte is the tooth that gesso have to it. The tooth, you can feel it with your hand. The surface is smooth, but you can still feel that it's more porous than the regular paper that would be not covered with anything. Gesso is acrylic primer. It's like acrylic paint with some add-ons. And that might be not completely accurate description, but it's the simplest one that I have. Those add-ons will make everything grip to gesso beautifully, and it will provide gesso a better grip to the slippery and slick surface than acrylic paint. If you want to use gesso on plastic or glass surface, it's still recommended to sand it first to provide a better grip. Except of prepping my papers, I also prepped myself a little assemblage made from different materials. Each one of them will take the paint differently, and to most of them, the paint would just soak through them, or like with metal, it would not stick at all. I covered it with two thin coats of gesso to prime it, and you will see later on in the video how adding the primer will change the way that you can apply paint, because you can still paint different surfaces with acrylic paint with the good results, but it will be not exactly the same, and I would say that I would prefer the gessoed surface, as everything will go more smoothly and easy. Here we have my experiment paper to show you some of gesso abilities. So I did both. I added some gesso via stencil at the beginning of the video, and half of each half of the page, so 1/4, was also painted with gesso with the brush. And I'm using mixed media friendly paper. That means it will take color a little bit different than, for example, a book page. But you can see the first property already. It's one of my favorites, like Control Z option, like take the step back. If you applied your color and you are not happy, or you picked the wrong color, or it's too intense, just overspray it with water and wipe, and you should be able to remove like majority of the color. If you will wait a second, then the paint will start to bind with the surface, and you can really see where the paper was exposed and where the gesso was, because the side with the paper, it will become darker at once. The pigment will bind with the paper and you will be not able to remove it. It doesn't matter if it's acrylic or watercolor or water reactive pigment. If the paper is exposed, then when you add your color, then you add it, and you have to just wing it from this point on. But if you use some gesso, then you can still remove it. And look how beautifully the product moves on gesso. Yes, it's coming out a little bit lighter, but it's because I used the white surface. So it have different visual effect, but still you can build it up to full intensity. Let's play a little bit with the book pages. So here we have one that it's unprimed with like anything. So I applied my color, it just blended with the paper, and that's how it will be. The stain that you got is the stain that you have. Here we have one book page that it's primed with gesso, and I'm comparing a little bit Prima and Penta gesso. They are both really good products, but on really different price points. So I thought that it would be cool to compare something more high-end and more on the budget side. For my techniques, they would all both work. I prefer Prima Gesso as it's smoother, but in general, they will work. Here we have the paper that is half covered with gel medium and half covered with clear gesso. And on clear gesso, I was able to have a nice hazed out stain. I was able to blow the edges and to have a perfect cloud of the color when on gel medium it just smeared. On Panta Gesso, you can see that it have more tooth, so it's holding the color stronger and it's easier to get a splotchy effect, but you can still smooth it out with water. I just wanted to go with like first effect that I will have, and you can see how far you can stretch the same amount of color on all the pages. Yes, it goes a little bit lighter, a little bit less intense than on non-primed surface, but it's still a really nice effect. And like I said, you can add one more layer and build up your color. And keep in mind that I was using translucent colors. Let's go back to unprimed paper. I was working really fast, so the paint wasn't dry yet, but you can see that on the primed surfaces, I was able to move it, and on the one that was unprimed, I couldn't. Let's move to my mixed media piece. On the side, I have a piece of resin, and you can see that I can paint it with the acrylic paint, but first of all, colors are coming out not necessarily in the most flattering way. And the second ability, look, I applied the paint and then I was able to like wipe it out to have more subtle and more blended look. Look how easy for me it is to blend those colors. And yeah, I know that it's quite fast. I speed up the video a little bit, but you can still see how easy it is for me to blend those colors together. And before my paint is dry, I can always overspray it with water and have this nice wash effect when you increase all the crevices and all the textures of your project with no effect at all. My favorite technique with white gesso would be dry brush that can save all your project, even the ones that you maybe have some mistakes or something went wrong, and we all make mistakes. So dry brush, it's always a good technique to know. Here you could see how cool it can look when you wash the color. I painted over again to show you the dry brushing. We pick up the tiniest amount of the product on our brush. I prefer to use very soft brush, and then we just spread it. You drag this tiny amount, this thin coat, all around your project. And yes, you could use the acrylic paint for that, but Gesso, thanks to this grabbing properties, thanks to that add-on that makes it stick to everything, is just easier to work with. It's more pleasant to work with. Can you achieve this effect in other ways? Yes, of course. Would be equally easy and effortless? No, I don't think so. I know that for sure it would be not so effortless. And it's really easy to get those soft blendings, this super cool mixed media look with the white haze on top and with the highlights. At the finished and dry artwork, you can see all the details, all the embellishments looks amazing, and I was able to play a little bit with contrast on this one, and I'm super pleased with the outcome. And it's such an easy technique to do. Strongly recommend you to trying this one. And let's look at my papers. So here you can see on the close-up how the paints, different ones, look on gessoed and on non-primed surfaces. So the difference is quite striking. The paper just soak up all the pigment. It binded really hard, and you can see the line between unprimed paper and primed one. On unprimed paper, we have really intense effect and really harsh edges of the stain. It would be really hard to get this nice effect on unprimed surface. On gel, you can see the brush strokes and it's very shiny, and you just have the smeared product on top of the gel. While when using the clear gesso, you can work with the stain and have those beautiful effects. With two kinds of my gesso, you can see that Pantone one was a little bit less creamy and it hold up the brush strokes very visible, while Prima Gesso was more smooth, more creamier, and the effect is just smoother. Okay, that's it. That's all that I have to say about Gesso today. In case you have any more questions, just leave me the comment. Okay, thank you everyone for your attention. Have a nice and creative day. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't do so, and see you on Saturday on the live stream. Bye!